Welcome to Tim and Nic Chats, where we talk about life, love, and relationships. Also, happy holidays. Today, as is our process, I will flip a coin and lose the coin toss. But we just do it anyway to start the show. Here we go. Heads or tails, baby?
Heads. So, what's this shit?
Male domination.
That's not happening.
My arm. I'm feeling intimidated and belittled.
As you should.
Thank you. My self-esteem is plunging.
Oops.
You go first. What a surprise.
Let's see. This is Christmas week. So Christmas Eve, it will have been 22 years ago when you proposed to me on Christmas Eve.
Oh, here we go.
So my question for you is, and I have to say it was an incredibly romantic evening.
Okay.
We had already had Corey. We pretty much knew we were getting married, but you remember what I said to you? I said, you have to propose properly. I'm not just going to marry you because we have a kid together. Remember that?
Okay.
Okay. So we did things a little bit backwards, but... So Christmas Eve, my parents are there, my grandma's there, everybody's there, and he wraps the box inside the box inside the box, and it was a wedding ring. So he got down on one knee and proposed to me. So my question to you today is, why is Christmas Eve your favorite day of the year?
Oh my gosh. That's a fun question. Let's see. Probably because it started with my parents. Mm-hmm. They were awesome about Christmas. I remember with my sister Chris, we had this big house in Clinton, New York, 2-story, and the stairs were huge. So we, at 11 o'clock at night, would be at the top of the stairs, still young enough to believe in Santa, and we could hear a lot of things going on down there. Didn't understand Dad running the blender, but that comes later. And there was such anticipation in the night, and my parents always built it up that there was a Santa Claus, and that probably their joy and enthusiasm for that night in particular, and then, when Christmas got there, really carried on to the kids. So I think that was the foundation of it for me. And we didn't have a lot of money, but there was, a couple wrapped gifts, and then one that Santa brought, which was way cool. In fact, one of my favorite times was when I got a slide hockey game back then. And that was, I know it sounds simple, but man, when you're 8 or 9 years old, 10 years old, some gifts Santa actually brought that. And we tried to tell our folks we didn't believe in Santa until we were well into our teens, just to maybe improve the gift. I don't know.
Oh.
Chris, you're in on this. So there's the foundation of it. And then I've had a lot of wild Christmas Eves, and you're right in that middle period, because we've been together 22 years or 23 or 24, whatever it is. But I've had Christmas Eves where I'd be driving in 2 feet of snow, trying to bring Aunt Duff home, and she's white knuckling the car handle. I'm just cruising along, in upstate New York, and we always seem to have a white Christmas. And then there were a couple tough Christmas Eves, when you're an orphan, and by that I mean you're working on your career, you're alone, you're in a strange city, a bunch of orphans get together, just turns into a beer fest, beer pong for all you youngsters out there. And then you start having a family yourself, and then Christmas Eve, it's so magical as it takes on then a whole new evolution too. So now you have kids, and you're the parent, and you get to stay up till 2 a.m. putting things together. Luckily, you're very mechanically inclined. Thank you. So it's great food, it's family, it's friends. The presents really are secondary because we had so much fun on Christmas Eve. Before we had kids, one time we cheated. We opened up all the gifts on Christmas Eve and then just slept in on Christmas because there's no kids bouncing on your bed trying to get us up. That was fun.
That was fun.
And then the kids came, and you get so much joy from watching them open presents and rip into them, And so I've had some fantastic Christmas Eves, never a bad one with you and the boys, and that's 2 decades worth at least. And yeah, it was special proposing to you that night. It's kind of corny with all it, open this box, open that box.
It wasn't corny at all.
It wasn't?
No, it was
That's
very
cool.
romantic.
That's cool. And we've had some out of bound Christmases where we got dogs one year,
That's
Rachel
right.
and
Yeah,
Rex.
that's how our puppies came.
And we went over the top sometimes with some other stuff.
Yes,
jet
we
skis.
did. All right, enough.
Okay. But it really isn't about the presents. There's a magic for me about Christmas Eve, and started with my parents and has continued with you.
I love you.
So there we go.
Excellent answer. And just a caveat, in this house, you don't believe in Santa, you don't get nothing. And my 17 and 22-year-old, they know that. Everyone here believes in Santa.
They are true believers.
Santa is real.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
thanks, honey. That was great.
You're welcome.
Great answer.
And since it is the holiday week, my question, of course, parallels yours again. Must be because we spent yesterday together in Sedona or something. But I wanted to ask you, what was your favorite Christmas Eve, as a child that you remember sitting here right now, and then also with me and the boys? So,
okay, my favorite Christmas Eve as a child. Well, and you're the Christmas Eve fan. I mean, I was more the Christmas Day fan because that's when we got to open the presents.
Normally,
was there, and that's when we sort of celebrated. It's funny. I know as a child we had a lot of really tough Christmases. I mean, financially, I know there was times when we didn't have much money and things. It was never really about that. It was like just the joy of being able to see people. And I think what was really cool was being a child of a family that was split and also, frankly, kind of broke. There was something around Christmas Day that people weren't stressing about those things.
Wow.
So even though your life may have been filled with some stress about finances or things, it's like Christmas Day comes and everybody just embraces it as a time to be in that space of joy. So that was really cool. So I can't, as a child, it's like, honestly, the one I remember is actually not a great thing. And it was that my grandmother would always really spoil me and my brother because we were the children of my mother, and she knew that my mother never really had the finances to take care of us. But then my cousins would come over and my grandma would have like one thing for them, and then we'd open like 6 gifts, and I would feel like guilt. And it's funny because I've asked my cousins about this and they're like, I don't remember that at all. But